Good evening and welcome to Arizona Illustrated for Monday, August 27, 2012. I'm Tony Paniagua. The National Republican Convention has been postponed in Tampa, Florida due to Tropical Storm Isaac, so we are not having special coverage tonight, although politics are still taking center stage. After months of debates, discussions, and dedication, the fate of many local political candidates is now in your hands. Primary elections are being held tomorrow, and this will weed out many residents who had been hoping to get elected to a local, state, or federal office here in Arizona. Joining us with the latest are reporters Christopher Conover and Andrea Kelly. So let's begin with some of the major races, and the U.S. Senate obviously is the big one here in the state. Somebody wants to replace retiring Senator Jon Kyl.
That's right, and there are 4 Republicans running in that race. 2 people might not have heard of as much. Claire Van Steenwyk is a radio host in the Phoenix area, and Brian Hackbarth is a former mayor. I think it was Youngtown. And then there's the 2 bigger names that people have probably seen the commercials for, which is Jeff Flake, who's currently a congressman in Arizona's 6th district in the Phoenix area, and Will Cardin, a businessman who's running also for that seat. But those are the 2 big names people have probably heard a lot about, and that race will be decided tomorrow during the primary. Whoever wins will go on to face a Democrat in November. So even though we're at primary stage here, some races are going to be decided, but a lot of them will go on to November.
Another important race, Christopher, is the District 2 in the Congress. We have Ron Barber and Matt Hines on the Democratic side.
Exactly, and that is almost a redo of the CD8 special election. Matt Hines was in it originally and then suspended his campaign on the Democratic side to let Barber be the only Democrat running in that. And of course, he won that race, defeating Jesse Kelly, who then got out of the CD2 race, clearing the way for Martha McSally to get in and Mark Kosciuszko also to get in. So this is a race almost that's been campaigning since January, when former Congresswoman Gabrielle Giffords resigned her seat.
And what's going on in Congressional District 3?
That is the district that Congressman Grijalva now sits in. The numbers have been rearranged, but that's his district that he's in now. He has 2 Democrats challenging him, former State Representative Amanda Aguirre and a Tucson doctor, Manny Arreguin. So the 3 of them face off in the Democratic primary. On the other side, there are 2 Republicans running, Gabriela Saucedo Mercer and Jaime Vasquez, both from Tucson. So we have 2 races there. The winners of each face off in November.
And we often get confusion there during the primary elections because people from either party want to vote cross-party, but that's not how it works. You have to decide who to vote for, right?
If you're a registered independent, not independent party, but no party affiliation, you can pick whichever ballot you want, but you have to vote the entire ballot, or at least you can't do half and half. You don't have to vote in every race if you don't want to. But yes, we have an open primary in that case.
And what about ballots? If people fill them out earlier, it's too late to put them in the mail, right?
Yeah, the Pima County Recorder's Office has said there's been a record number of early ballots sent out this year. More and more people want to vote from home or vote early. And if you want to do that, or you still have that ballot in your hand, it's too late to mail it back. Excuse me, the Recorder's Office says, please bring your ballot in, take it into your polling place or to the Recorder's Office tomorrow on the primary and hand it in. If you put it in the mail, it has to be to the Recorder's Office by 7 p.m. tomorrow. So just in case it takes more than a day to get there, they recommend not mailing it.
And fewer polling places tomorrow, Christopher, than usual?
There are a bit smaller number of polling places, and there were fewer early polling places also, which may account for some people still having their ballots. But everybody still has a polling place. They've just kind of cut down on some of the numbers.
And then finally, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to add the Recorder's Office and the Elections Office say watch those postcards that you should have gotten in the mail, because those will tell you where to go vote if you're not sure. And that's also on the website, the Recorder's website.
And of course, we'll have full coverage tomorrow night on Arizona Public Media. Thank you very much for joining us. The economy is a top concern for millions of voters across the country, and Arizona has recently received some good news about our financial situation. For that story, we go to KAET, our sister television station in Phoenix.
Top 10 cities, metro areas for non-agricultural jobs. Phoenix tied for 4th with Seattle and San Diego. A surprise there at all?
No. We've been in the top 10 statewide for the better part of the last, 9, 10 months. I think we've been in the top 10. Phoenix dominates the state, so it wouldn't surprise, that the metro ranks really very highly. It's a good group to be in.
Phoenix numbers seem to be improving. Again, will that growth continue? What do we watch for here with this continued growth, if there is continued growth?
Well, never buck the real estate trend, right, Ted? Mm-hmm. So, we do have the roller coaster. The real estate roller coaster prevails in Arizona. It's pretty clear we've hit bottom and we're starting up. And, the pace of expansion is yet to be determined. But it's likely that Arizona will be among the top 10 job creators, say, for the foreseeable future.
In terms of metro regions, Phoenix ranked 4th, tied for 4th. San Francisco is number 1, Houston number 2, Denver number 3. What are those cities doing right?
Well, this is really interesting. These cities are coming at this a little bit differently. And I want to go to a thesis put forward by Enrico Moretti, a professor at Berkeley. He wrote a great book. It's a great read, The New Geography of Jobs. And he points to these high-tech cities as job creators over the next decade. And it's San Diego, it's San Francisco, it's Seattle, it's Austin, Boston, those kinds of things. So those kinds of cities are very consistent with the Moretti thesis. Now, Houston is getting tailwind from energy, clearly. Mm-hmm. Phoenix is getting tailwind because we're finally finding some, footing, let's say, with respect to our construction industry. Construction has been a horrible drag for the last 5 years. We're doing some other things right. I think, in all fairness, the Commerce Authority certainly has its act together. It's a very organized economic development strategy now for the state, and I think we're seeing some positives coming from that.
As far as state rankings, Arizona is number 4 here, North Dakota, California, Oklahoma. We got California ranked 2 as a state. We got San Francisco ranked number 1 as a city. Yet all I hear is that everyone's leaving California, the place, no one wants to do business there. Jobs are being created there more than other places. What's going on?
Wow. It flies in the face of that argument that we both heard. That that high taxes are going to be the bane of anybody. There's another example in here. Illinois is not doing great, but it had a massive tax increase over the last couple of years, and it's about middle of the road or a little bit below average. And Wisconsin, who was thought to be the beneficiary of a lot of these jobs that were going to flee away from this high tax state, it's just not happening. Wisconsin's losing jobs. So California is one of Moretti's poster children, frankly. It's, despite some costs, and it's more costly, clearly, to do business in California than it is in other states. But despite that, that's where the opportunities lie. That's the opportunities in technology, the opportunities to leverage highly skilled labor. Infrastructure investments have not been bad. World-class university system. So it's all part of the recipe.
So if those are the opportunities in California, I know medical is big in Houston as well, along with a tailwind from energy. If those are the opportunities in Texas and Houston in particular, what are the opportunities here? What kind of jobs are we talking about here? And I know you did a study regarding educational attainment in Arizona and how we're still lagging in terms of higher education.
Yeah, if you peel back the onion a bit on our jobs, our job success, and even our top 10 ranking right now, we're still not generating the high-quality jobs in sufficient numbers. Hey, we just need a few more Intels, right? Intel is a tremendous asset for us, and companies like that, there's others, the Boeings, the Raytheons, the Honeywells, provide great opportunities for the state of Arizona. The key is we're in a tight competition for jobs like that. Everybody wants jobs like that. And businesses like that are going to move where they can find skilled talent, highly educated people, sometimes lucrative markets to sell in, but most of these are export-based. They want great infrastructure in terms of communication, transportation, that kind of thing. Education's absolutely the key. So what we did is we looked at what Arizona might look like if we could raise the labor force share of college graduates, especially in this 25 to 34-year-old group. And we found we could add $9 billion to the Arizona economy.
So you're saying basically the cost of doing business might be one metric, but that could possibly be overshadowed by the simple quality and quantity of talent.
Absolutely. You know, and I've tried to make this point on a number of forums. You know, economic development, the recipe for economic development strategy is an array of factors. And absolutely, cost of doing business, regulation, taxes, they're one of the elements. But workforce, skills of the workforce, the ability for a business to leverage the local workforce and generate profits is an unbelievable magnet for those businesses.
The numbers on the report we were talking about, the jobs report, metro areas, and state rankings, sales tax revenue in Arizona up year to year about 5% or so. Retail sales up close to 7% year to year. Does this indicate happy days are here again?
Individual income tax up 7.5%, 8% year
But
on
is this
year.
a return to normal? Is this do we start a parade or just get back to where we should have been in the first place?
It's a little different from that. We're not generating jobs and quality jobs at the pace that we do under normal Arizona economic conditions. Some folks are making money. It's clear because the tax receipts are showing that. So the interesting thing in terms of forecasting going forward, it's capital gains. We really have to watch capital gains. They're highly volatile. There's signs that they're back. I have models that are screaming up in terms of capital gains generation. But it's a tough number to get a hold of. You never really see it. You see its imprint in terms of the revenues immediately, but you don't really know for sure it's capital gains until about 2 years down the road.
But when you hear retail sales up this much and sales tax revenue up this much, that, again, that's a lot of consumer activity. No one's going to poo-poo that. But then again, are we seeing the institutional kind of capital gains, corporate income, these sorts of things, which indicates a vibrant infrastructure for economy?
Well, that's right. But there's some elements of stability in that Arizona consumer. I mean, people aren't going to be buying automobiles unless they're feeling relatively secure. And, you know, what we saw in, say, 08, 07, 08, 09, the early part of 10, it was like nobody bought automobiles. It was a dearth of consumption of automobiles. In the last several years, they've been up 20% year on year for a couple years running. So this is very important. It's a sign that the consumer is getting their footing and they're becoming a bit more confident. You know, we talk about climbing a wall of worry here, and I think that there's some evidence that we're moving in a positive direction.
I was going to say, so bottom line, you see optimism here. What do we take from all this? What do we watch for now in the coming months?
Well, it's good signs. We're moving in the right direction. For long-run economic prosperity, if we want to be one of Moretti's winners, as we're talking about, you know, again, I'm a university prof, so it sounds like I'm just trying to feather my own nest here, but the data are so clear. We need to attract highly skilled workers. We need to have jobs for highly skilled workers. We need to continue to train highly skilled workers. We cannot be known for low cost and low skill if we want to maximize economic prosperity.
And if low cost and low skill continues to increase and educational attainment and the high-paying jobs continue to be stagnant, that's not necessarily a good thing?
No, there's going to be winners and losers going forward, and that doesn't sound like a winning strategy to me.
All right, Dennis, good to have you here. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Ted.
This year's Summer Olympics in London resulted in 104 medals for the United States, the most of any nation. And the state of Arizona was well represented during the games. Tonight, we have an interview with two athletes from the University of Arizona who were part of Team USA and will always remember this amazing experience. Caitlin Harrington has that interview.
Joining me in the studio today is Brigetta Barrett and Georganne Moline. They are both here as part of the U of A track and field team, and they both just came back from the Summer 2012 Olympics. Thanks for joining me today, ladies.
Thanks for having us.
Georganne, tell us a little bit about what sport you competed in and what medals or place you took.
So I ran the 400 hurdles, and I got 5th in the final. So that was really exciting. So I didn't expect to be here. So to make the final and get 5th was amazing for me.
And Brigetta, same thing for you. What did you compete in, and which place did you take?
Well, I competed in the women's high jump, and I took 7th place, which is amazing because I didn't know it at the time, but I made U of A history. I think I'm the only woman to medal in the Olympics in Arizona history. And then I think it's been since 1988 since an American woman even medaled in the women's high jump. So that was great.
And Georganne, your placing was pretty important to you too. It was a personal best, was it not?
Yeah, it was a personal best. So, and I actually PR'd twice. So in the first round and then in the final. So that was really nice.
Can you talk to me a little bit about the preparation, not so much the physical preparation, but we talked about mental preparation for the Olympics?
Yeah, for me, it's a thing of confidence. Like, I tend to, like, not give myself enough credit. So for me, it was staying confident and just, I kind of get nervous. So getting my nerves into, like, you know, centering my nerves was important for me. So I usually, like, listen to my music, but in the blocks, I take deep breaths, close my eyes, and then I just wait for the gun. So that's what I need to do.
Brigetta, we talked before this interview, and you have a couple preparation steps as well. You actually have 4 exact steps. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Okay, before competition, it's sleep in. Do not schedule your alarm clock, sleep in, eat really well, pray, and visualize. And during competition, it's a mixture of things. Visualizing the jump that I've been trying to go over before I got to the competition, and then a lot of singing takes place. It just grounds me and allows me to remember that I can have fun doing what I'm doing, and other girls enjoy it. So occasionally they'll join in and sing with me.
You're both students at the U of A, and Brigetta, you're actually one of the younger people that competed for this place. Can you talk to us about how you balance school, since you're still in school this semester, and training and working out all the time?
Ooh, freshman year, that was really complicated for me. I am taking 7 units right now of school, like 7 credits, 7 classes. And as soon as fall training starts, you know, you have practice at 6 a.m., 6:30 in the morning, and you still have homework you have to do the night before. So I might get somewhere between 3 and 4 hours of sleep on a daily basis. And I know sometimes that can be really bad because from an athletic standpoint, sleep is the time where you can get the chance to recover the most. So it's actually really important for a number of reasons. But, you know, this is what I want to do. And a lot of people told me that I can't do it. So I think it's important for me to put that hard work and dedication in to show people, you know what, I can do whatever I put my mind to. So it's cool that I've gotten here so far.
Georganne, talk to me a little bit about some of the people that you met. I talked to you earlier if you met idols or people that you were starstruck by, and you did get to meet a lot of different athletes.
Yeah.
Can you talk to us about that?
Well, I met LeBron and stuff, and Usain Bolt, so that was really cool. But, I mean, the coolest part was, like, Sonya and Tyson Gay, and they're my teammates. So that was, like, the really cool part. We got to spend so much time together. And, like, these people who I've always looked up to, or, like, I want to be like them someday, like, I'm right there patting their back saying, oh, good job. And they're supporting me in what I'm about to do. So that was the most exciting part, I think.
And you had a couple experiences with some idols as well, did you not? Some people that starstruck you. Can you talk to us about that?
I was actually really surprised to be so starstruck by the Dream Team when I first saw them. I think it was a combination of me rushing back to the village to get my opening ceremony uniform, and then them being right there in front of my building. And they were so nice. And Andre Iguodala, he went to Arizona, so Beartown Wildcats, and he was really, really nice to both of us. And, you know, he got his tickets to the game, and he was like, hey, this is LeBron, this is, you know, so-and-so. And it was just really cool to have that kind of camaraderie just because we went to the same school. And, Serena Williams watched them meet with us in our athletes lounge. That was really cool, especially for me because she made a lot of African-American history. And growing up, that's one person that I did look up and I did research projects on. And I was like, I want to be like these women. So it was really great to be in the village and be among these people. And they're like rooting for you. And she's like, good luck. You know, I'll be watching in the morning. And I'm like, wow.
Georganne, in addition to the physical and mental preparation for the Olympics, you had to overcome a few injuries. Mm-hmm. Talk to us about how you did that and how you kept your focus.
So, I mean, I've had injuries pretty much every year since I've been here, so it was nothing new to me. It was kind of scary at first because my most recent injury happened right before indoor season. So in my head, I already didn't think I was going to be at the Olympics, but on top of that, I got injured, and I was like, there goes nationals, there goes this, you know? for a split second that went through my head. And then I have a great coach and amazing teammates. So with them, it was just like, you either want this or you don't, and let's start working hard because you can't do anything about it. So I would do pool workouts, work so hard, 110%, and I realized I want this. So it was like a last minute thing. I was like, wow, okay, let's do this. And so once I got I was mentally ready for it, I was just not looking back that I even got hurt, and I was just like, let's do this. Let's go for a medal. And that was, the goal. So.
Well, ladies, I thank you both so much for joining me today, and we look forward to seeing you both in Rio.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Many people in the Sonoran Desert take its endemic plants for granted, but scientists say the vegetation here and in other deserts is unique and special. There are dozens of different types of cholla cacti and prickly pear, and you'll be able to enjoy them at the Pima Prickly Park northwest of Tucson. Luis Carrion has that story.
If you've driven along this stretch of River Road near Orange Grove, you may have noticed this peculiar sight. A ring of saguaros. They sit on the newly established Pima Prickly Park.
It's kind of gotten the name of Saguarohenge because it kind of looks like Stonehenge.
Dick Whiteoff is president of the Tucson Cactus and Succulent Society. He says the saguaros in this ring were salvaged from a golf course long before these 9.5 acres became Pima Prickly Park.
Kind of laughed about it as we drove down River Road for years, but now walking up to it and looking at how well these saguaros are doing, and the possibilities for developing this area as a kind of a place to meditate, a place of a special significance.
Whiteoff says since 1999, the Tucson Cactus and Succulent Society has rescued from destruction over 57,000 cacti and succulents. Now, with the signing of a 15-year agreement with Pima County, the Society has begun landscaping and transplanting a diverse array of plants onto this once vacant lot. Plants that would otherwise likely be destroyed by construction projects and road development.
The Cactus Society is not interested in just raping the desert of plants. We're only going into areas where the plants are going to be destroyed by development. And we're not interested in competing with the for-profit rescue places. And so we go out in a cooperative effort. They come out and take out the big saguaros and other bigger trees. And we take the small barrel cactus, the hedgehogs, the pincushion cactus, and of course our native cirrus, the queen of the night, which is, what drives a lot of our members to come out because they always look like they hopefully will find one. And that's a whole process in digging a queen of the night out because they have this huge taproot, and you spend 45 minutes or an hour trying to dig out this plant, but it's well worth it.
The 1,000 or so members that make up the Tucson Cactus and Succulent Society certainly think this park is worth it. Several large specimens have been transplanted and are beginning to establish themselves firmly in their new home, including some one-of-a-kind plants like this crested barrel cactus that was nearly lost in a construction project.
My name is George Cook. I'm the Operations Maintenance Manager for the Pima County Natural Resources Parks and Recreation Operations Division.
Cook says this public-private partnership between a nonprofit and the county has been beneficial for everyone involved. And he's happy to see that this land is being put to use in a way that will also benefit the entire community.
Well, originally this piece of property next to our main office complex was a burrow pit. And that was a huge pit in the ground of construction debris. It was filled in, and we got into a partnership with Tucson Cactus and Succulent Society through our county administrator's office. County administrator volunteers with the organization, and they were looking for a site for plant a lot of their specimens, and this site was decided upon.
Another unique specimen that has found a home at Pima Prickly Park is this four-armed saguaro. The society members that rescued it describe it as a set of quadruplets that share one root system.
10, 15 years ago, these plants would have been destroyed. A plant like this, which is really special and unique, gives us an opportunity to show this off to the public. It would be a shame to put this in someone's backyard and only a few people would see it. We've developed a process of how to remove these smaller saguaros. We don't really get into the 12 and 20-foot saguaros. That's what professional work is for. But we've developed some mechanized ways of taking out these saguaros, hand digging them, and bringing them over here and hand planting them. It's going to be a really an important part of this development of Pima Prickly Park.
Whiteoff says Pima Prickly Park is now open, but is still in its infancy. Members of the Society will spend the next year landscaping and transplanting specimens in preparation for the grand opening in the fall of 2012.
In tonight's video postcard from photographer John Dinayazi and editor Laura Tafflinger, we give you a behind-the-scenes look at a play on the University of Arizona campus. In the School of Theater, Film, and Television, students get hands-on experience for professional careers.
Do you have people letting go of points?
I think one of the most important things about a stage manager is that once we do open, the director and the designers and everybody else goes away, and it's up to the stage manager to uphold the integrity of the show.
Once we get to the fight choreography, I will call lights.
Keep pulling! Awesome.
Being able to collaborate with all the designers and the director and all the cast members, it's something that I always really enjoy.
All right, you guys ready? On 3, 1, 2, 3.
The finished project, it has a lot of texture and a lot of very detailed painting, and it's really cool to be a part of.
How's that? That is better. Okay. We'll keep going, or do you need to sit down?
You can get more news and information on our website, azpm.org. To comment on any story you saw tonight, click on it online and go to the bottom. We can also be reached via Facebook and Twitter. Coming up tomorrow night, the National Republican Convention is scheduled to get started in Tampa, Florida, after Tropical Storm Isaac put a damper on today's activities. We are scheduled to have special in-depth programming to cover the events. I'm Tony Paniagua from all of us at Arizona Public Media. Have a great night.